All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all. We are currently live streaming. As we begin to close this sector out, this is our closing chapter. Um, let's look at where we left off yesterday at the pseudoflorus glands. These are the sweat glands. Of course, you have some basics um, of our beauty industry. And when it comes to education, we have to know what we're touching, what's underneath. And so, as a review of infection controls, anatomy, physiology, now skin structures, one of the final foundational ones we may have is skin diseases, things of that nature. And then we'll move on to things like treatment room, facials, so on, so on. As we begin to continue to build, let's look at the sweat glands again. You can see bold terms. Bold terms are going to tell us, bold terms are always going to tell us that these things should be stuck out, they should be highlighted, they should be areas of study. I have bookmarked this area for you to easily find. And so let's go in. It says pseudoflorus glands, also called sweat glands, okay? Whenever you see pseudoflorus or sweat glands, it simply means to exit. It exits sweat, okay? It pushes sweat. It does not pull anything in. Its main job is to exit sweat and detoxify the body. So all the bad things that our bodies cannot, our body produces all the good things, and then the waste particles, which is the stuff usually left behind that the body cannot process, that gets pushed out, okay? And excess salt and unwanted chemicals, all of that gets pushed out, okay? It consists of, the sweat gland consists of a coil, okay, that secretes, okay? It's called secretory gland, all right? It is at the base. We seen it yesterday, kind of yellow, curvy. It's at the base of the pseudoflorus gland. So at the base of the sweat gland, there's a core that secretes. And so its main job, it just pushes out. It like blows a kiss, okay? It just pushes out. It's as in blowing. It does not um, observe, pull in. Its main job is to push out, okay? And so it pushes out to the ends of the skin surface. And this is where we called our pore. And there's so many other things connected to that pore, but this is one of them, okay? It says all body parts have pseudoflorus glands, sweat glands, which are more numerous, okay? More numerous on the palms of the hands. So my hands are sweaty. Soles of the feet, the forehead, the underarm, and the underarm armpit, okay? So a lot of times, those are the areas that you have your high points of sweat glands. For aesthetics purposes, we do hair removal, we work with the skin. So these are important factors to us, especially when it comes to the forehead and the underarm. All right. For the underarm, removing sweat, we generally always gonna do a mini cleansing. Under that arm, you're gonna do a mini cleansing, whether it's with a wipe, a cleansing oil, or a cream cleanser, or spray, such as a rose toner or witch hazel. It is going to be a cleansing. Cleansing means that you're removing excess surface dirt, oil, or sweat from the area you are preparing to wax. Okay. After that, we may use a component of powder. Okay. And maybe cornstarch powder because it soaks up oil and any type of moisture. We use cornstarch powder to protect the skin. And then following that, you will go in for your wax removal. So we do have some different concepts as we work how to control the sweat glands and how to regulate it for the moment that we're using those areas, working on those areas. Okay. I'm gonna highlight in yellow. It says the sweat glands regulate body temperature. So we have some very important factors. Okay. And the sweat gland, the sweat cools the skin surface. most important. So individuals that may say, come up in the conversation, I don't sweat. I'm like, man, sweating is essential to your skincare and also essential to body care. Okay, overall body care. It cools the skin surface. So most of the time when you see someone beginning to sweat, that it should be a signal that, hey, we've already got to the point where this person's body is very hot. Okay. And the sweating begins to cool the surface. We think the sweating is hot too, but it's just cooling the body. At that time, we need to be very, very cautious on how much longer we're out in the sun, the heat, and we should be moving towards a break where we should be in somewhere cooler, some water, or something that can also just reset the body. Okay. The sweat glands, their activity is increased. How is their activity increased? Key note, understand, heat. Heat can cause you to sweat more, yes. Increase something more. Exercise, yes. Emotions, that is something to think about. You don't really hear. But yes, emotions, stress, that stress falls in that category, and certain drugs. Okay. Certain drugs can cause the sweat glands, that activity to increase. Okay. So you think about for me, just styling hair and having a story for almost everything, especially when you've been doing it so long. You have people in your chair and you're just working with them and they just bust out sweating. It's so many things. I've experienced the one, certain drugs. I experienced the one with emotions, even had the ones with heat and exercise. Okay. So yeah, this is something we've experienced, and you have to have like a plan for when they come into the spa. How do you deal with them and calm them down, calm the body down before you even do the services? Okay. You got to minimize that sweating activity. It says typically 1 or 2 fluids containing trace amounts of minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium are eliminated daily through the pores in the skin. And this is what I want to come back to, a great, great fact. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium are being eliminated daily. These are things that you need to make sure is replenished. Okay. Most times you have people who have hydration packs. Hydration packs, when you think of hydration packs, it's a replacement of these. Well, they said, for me, one time I was doing the hydration packs as part of an exercise, and I was doing it too much. Okay. So my levels were sky high, and they weren't, at that balance anymore, which caused me to be sick oddly. But I'm finding now, even working with a lot of women going through perimenopause and having clients that I'm customizing products for. Magnesium is one of those things that they are lacking. They're doing a lot of night sweats, and with that, this is what they're losing: is sodium, potassium, magnesium. How do we replace it to help balance them again? So between their doctors, their esthetician, their cosmetologists, their endocrinologists, gynecologists, everybody's trying to figure out how to balance this while they're going through this season. Okay. But magnesium has been one of those that has been lost in men and in women a lot. Okay. And I would want you to definitely study the benefits of magnesium. For men, it helps regulates mood. It helps with their muscles. Um, with women, of course, it balances them, helps with their muscles, it replaces what they're missing, it improves their mood, and also depending on when you certain ones that you use, if you put it in the bathtub, magnesium, it helps you sleep and help with muscles. And some people do put it in their water. Okay, so they're getting a little bit of water of magnesium every day just to replace what's being missing, especially if they work outside and they sweat a lot, or they're going through, women issues, menopause, perimenopause, and they're sweating a lot overnight. that magnesium is a fix. Yeah, I put it in where, and really, it's either magnesium or Epsom salt for me. But for if they telling me they're in menopause or perimenopause, it's gonna be magnesium. I don't really do magnesium and Epsom salt together. It's like the same thing, double doozy, but magnesium has more benefits. They're trying to replace different things. Yeah, I like to make bath scrubs, all that kind of stuff with it. People put it in shea butter. They put it in you can it's a liquid form too. You can put it in your body oils. It just depends. Okay, but yeah, make sure you check that out and keep that as a note that magnesium, sodium, and potassium are key elements that's lost and needs to be replaced. This is where your hydration package, and this is where your alkaline waters and your water with watermelon, your water with lemon, your water with lime comes in, your fruit water. Looking at sebaceous glands, okay? With the sebaceous glands, also called oil glands. It's going to be some facts about this. Let me highlight it. Sebaceous glands, also called oil glands, produce or secrete something called sebum. Sebum is simply oil. So you got two sets of terms here. Sebaceous glands are oil glands. Whenever you hear me say oil glands, or anybody say oil glands, you know the technical term is sebaceous glands. Whenever it says oil, we're talking about sebum. Okay. Sebum is your natural oil that the body produces. All right. It gives luster to the body. And so here where it says lubricates the skin and preserves the hair's softness, that's your hair's natural oil, your body's natural oil, just making your hair look good and feel good. You don't have to add anything extra. So this should make you think about everyone selling scalp oils and all this extra stuff. Our body literally produces it. Now, if we're not getting it, what's happening that what we're supposed to have is not coming to the surface? Where is it going? And the only instance I could look at is someone that has dry skin. They have a reduction. Their pores are not large. Their pores are not at regular size. And then they don't produce enough oil. The oil is not going to come out unless the pore is at size. And it will sit there and do what it needs to do. But remember, the larger the pore, the more oil. So the larger the pores, now you have a issue called oily skin. Okay. The smaller the pores, now you have an issue called dry skin. So we need the adequate size, the normal size of the pore, where the right amount of oil can come out. And with that amount of oil can come out, it can come to the surface, lubricate the hair before it comes out of the scalp. Okay. But that's sebaceous gland. And think about, again, many individuals don't like to use oil on, when they're doing skincare, they don't like to use oils and serums and things like that. But I talked about earlier this week how oils come with a number system. Okay. You want to use numbers 1 and 2, and everything else is considered high. The lower the number, the better the oil, the non-clogging. Okay. We need to educate our clients about that. And then the higher the number, even though it feels good, it's more branded, more people are using it. People on YouTube say use it, but it is not great. Everything is not great for skin. So the higher the number, it clogs the pore. So we never want to use an oil that has a very high number, always an oil that has a very low number. Okay. It says, with the exceptions of palms of the hands and soles of the feet, these glands are found in all body parts. Okay. Especially face, scalp. Okay. They are so much larger. So when we come to sweat glands, you got sweat glands on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet, but you don't have oil glands. That's something for you to really take away. So one of the difference between sweat glands and oil glands, hey, one produces sweat, one produces oil. Next, one is found on the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet, and the other is not. Okay. Um, I this is I think we had skipped to this review, but here's looking at the functions of the skin as we begin to close out, and we'll look at a few terms tomorrow. This particular chapter didn't take that long, it took a couple of days to kind of review. It says the skin's six principal functions are protection, sensation, heat regulation, excretion, secretion, and absorption. Okay, which means this is what I want you to think about. Whatever you put on the skin, it will be absorbed. Okay, internal, it will be pulled in. So I don't, people will say, oh, I didn't, we didn't do that. We didn't do too much. Whatever you put on there was a lot. Okay. So I don't want people to discount the functions of the skin. Also, the functions of the skin works from the inside out. So we just talked about sweat glands and oil glands. So when we talk about excretion, there's an organ called kidneys, the liver. Okay. Those organs are a part of pushing waste out of the body. And so they work well with our sweat glands to push waste out of the body. All of this works together. So the body, the sweat glands help detoxify the body. Okay. So when people are doing body wraps, um, things of that nature, they're using certain detox clays. They're really pulling and depending on those sweat ducts to really help push out of the body. Those detoxifiers, those products are pulling from those sweat ducts. Okay. Let's look at protection. The skin ultimately protects everybody. The skin has a pH. Okay. pH of 4.5 to 5.5. That's the highest. The acid mantle is a combination of sweat and oil. That's what we need to understand first, all right? So we have the skin. We know that it's the largest organ of the body. It protects everything else, but there is something that protects the skin, and that is our oil sweat balance, okay? It's called the acid mantle. It's a protective barrier, okay, and here, I'm gonna highlight it here in yellow. It's a protective barrier made up of sebum. Other lipids are fatty oils, okay? So you have regular oils, then you have more fatty oils, and then you have sweat and you have water, okay? Sweat involves salt, and then you have water. The acid mantle is a protective barrier that protects the skin, okay? So it holds there to protect the skin from invasion from bacteria. It's like a defense mechanism. It's going to lock down everything, okay? And its pH is between 4.5 and 5.5. It falls into the category of hair, skin, and nails where the pH is 4.5 to 5.5, okay? As you can see here, it says average 5.5. When we talk about skincare products, you always want to check the pH of those products before we put it on our skin, okay? Because if you're using a cleanser, okay, remember our sweat glands and oil glands are continuously working 24/7 like a machine, okay? So when you are washing the skin, whether in bathing, cleansing of the face, wiping, conditioning, this acid mantle is consistently being replaced, okay? It's consistently being replaced. But this is what happens when you use a product that is higher than the pH of the skin. A product that's higher, or soap that's higher than the pH of the skin, is going to strip the acid mantle from the skin. That was the protection. So when you strip the protection, the barrier, Then the skin, it has no oil, it has no lipids, which is fatty oils, it has no sweat, and it has no water. Now the skin be dry, okay? So you have to make sure you balance the pH. How balance the pH? You will apply toner. So if we're doing a facial, first thing I got the cleanser. Yes, it is going to be higher. It can be gentle cleanser, but it can be right there. Gentle cleansing is right there, body's pH, the skin's pH. To cleanse 2 or 3 times to get it properly cleaned. But then if you're using a cleanser that's higher than the skin's pH, you may have to only use 1 time. The objective is not to lead to just do that and stop. When we put that pH product, the higher pH product on the skin, it is naturally going to strip oil, sweat, and dirt. We must then come in what we call toner, okay? We must then do what we call a toner. That toner comes in and balances the skin. When the toner balances the skin, then we're able to continue. But as long as we work, we must always balance the skin. This is why in facials, we have to always use the toner, or we have to always make sure that the pH of the skin is where it needs to be, okay? We always make sure we do that. And that is the acid mantle used as a protection, highlighting here that the pH is average of 5.5. And the skin pH, I'm gonna put it in green. The skin's pH protects the body from pathogens. The outermost layer is resistant to wide variations in temperature, minor injuries, chemically active substances, and many forms of bacteria. So the skin's pH is going to be very important as a foundation and just moving forward, okay? When we look at number 2 function, we're looking at sensation. The skin responds to heat, cold, touch, pressure, and pain. All right, highlighting in yellow. The skin responds to heat, cold, touch, pressure, and pain. Okay, so this is where those sensory nerves come from, and they are connected to the hair, which means those sensory nerves can sense things around us. And when someone touches us, we're able to instantly perceive what it is. Okay. It says when the nerve endings are stimulated, rubbed, touched. Okay, that's a form of stimulate, like a massage. The message is sent to the brain. Okay, everything has a sensory. We can tell when something is too hot, when something is too cold, when something is too painful. When there's an itch, we begin to scratch. These things become like immediate cause and effects. We barely take time to think about them. They automatically happen. You know, they, I won't say automatically happen, but it is a quick reaction, okay? And those are sensations, okay? So we can feel that. It helps for individuals that have tolerance of heat. This is sensation that's activated. For tolerance of coldness, we have sensation that's activated. You do have individuals that have higher tolerance for pain as well. Sensation is activated, okay? Whether it's high or low, the sensation sensory nerves are activated. Heat regulation, okay? Body temperature should be at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll highlight that, okay? So that body temperature keeps your blood, your sweat glands, okay? Keeps them all under control, keeps them cool, all right? And then if the body temperature goes above this area, you know, sweat comes to kind of cool the body off, but then we need to be trying to find our cool spot, okay? And if we have not, and remember, sweat pulls potassium, magnesium, sodium out. That's what helps hydrate the body. So if we're sweating, we're already pulling out, you know, things that's supposed to hydrate the body. We need to rehydrate, which means drinking our water, and try to find a cool spot. Okay. Exertion. This is perspiration from the pseudoflorus gland. So this is simply the sweating is happening now. Okay. And it pushes through the skin. It exits the body by pushing through the skin. Water loss through sweating takes salt and other chemicals with it. So this is where you see individuals that are out there playing football, basketball, just different outings. They would choose Gatorade, Powerade, or those hydration packs. They're just trying to replenish what's being lost. Okay. Also, it prevents the body from overheating. Secretion. This is the sebaceous glands. They push out sebum. All right. And that sebum is connected to the follicle. So as the hair is growing up the follicle tube, it is intercepted by the oil gland. Okay. So as the hair at the base of the layers of the skin, the hair picks up the DNA, it picks up color, and that DNA already has texture in it. It also has right there, you just picked up the color. It has density, everything. And it is hereditary. So it picked it up from either mom or dad. So whatever has been going on, you may get it or may skip, who knows. But it starts to pick up the DNA. The hair root is formed, picks up DNA, receives color and all the details of how it's supposed to grow, how it's supposed to act, how it's supposed to curl. It comes up through the follicle, intercepted by the sebaceous oil. Okay. The oil is picked up or absorbed into the hair, and then it continues to push up to the scalp. All right. Which means you massage the scalp. They always say massage and brush the scalp and the hair 100 times at night. And really what they were doing, it was just stimulating the oil that's underneath. You're bringing it to the surface. So wherever it may just be lying dormant, you're bringing it to the surface. You're building blood circulation. So your food and nourishment is getting to the hair root and the hair is growing longer. That is simply where that comes from. And people still do that every day, different parts of the world. That's a tradition that they do every day. Brush their hair 100 times at night, massage their scalp at night for about 10 minutes. They do that, okay? And that is their hair care regimen of why their hair seems to be growing longer or seems to have shiny hair, things of that nature. And everybody has the opportunity to do that, okay? But when you have a deficiency, you don't have that much oil, you have more drier scalp, you're going to have to be able to replace that oil that your body is not producing. Okay. It says, here's a keynote. Emotional stress, hormone imbalances can increase the flow of sebum. Okay. So going through reproduction, having a baby, going through PMS, going through PCOS, PMOS, having endocrine issues, hormone issues, taking birth control, so many things can cause, and also just normal stress can cause our glands to kind of go up and down. Okay. It says it can increase the activity, so it can make us sweat more. Absorption. Number 6, last but not least, the skin's outer layers can absorb ingredients, but very few ingredients can penetrate the epidermis. Okay. The skin's outer layers can absorb some ingredients, but very few ingredients can penetrate the epidermis, which means some ingredients can be too large to fit through that pore. Okay. And so we have to make sure that we apply products in small amounts. And with skincare, it doesn't take a lot to do a lot. Most of these products are concentrated. So using a little bit goes a very long way. And you want to be able to what we call emulsify. And emulsify is taking a product, putting it in my hand, rubbing it in between my hands. The heat friction from me rubbing in between my hands is going to cause that product to break down in size, in molecule. Then I'm able to put that on the skin, and the skin, the pore is so small, it then is able to absorb it. So large molecule items ingredients are not able to be broken down. So you shouldn't be putting products straight out of a jar onto the skin. Every product that you have to squeeze out, pull out, whatever, should have to be emulsified, broken down by rubbing it in between your fingers or your hands. And as you break it down, you'll see that the texture changed, the product got lighter, and now it's ready to go on the skin. Okay? Because the skin cannot absorb large molecules. All right. And so that's simply product that's too that's too thick or too heavy. The small amounts of fatty materials, such as those used in many advanced skincare formulations, may be absorbed between the cells, and that's what you want. You want to break it down really small so it can travel down to where it needs to travel. Anything saying it's going to help me in vitamin C, and it has vitamin C, and it's going to help with the appearance, minimize my dark spots. You got to travel 5 layers down from the surface. Okay, you don't want the skin to absorb it and then it gets stuck and it don't go anywhere. You're going to instantly say, this product don't work, this product don't work. Okay, I want it to get as small as possible. Rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it, and then I would put it on the skin, rub it in, and push. Okay, and that will begin. The smaller I break it down, the easier it is to flow down those between those different cells, and that's where it would cause the most effect. It needs to get down to the areas it needs to work at the most. Okay, the skin is constantly being repaired, so it has to go all the way down to the bottom, receive it, and then just have and cause an effect. This new skin, as you're growing every day, shedding these new skin cells, this new skin eventually comes up, and it comes up with clear skin, not with no pigmentation issues. We can only do so much with our hands. So most of the time with estheticians, we're going to use machines to help do what we need to do. Okay, those machines are going to be like your LED lights. When you see individuals that they're under the red light, that red light tights the skin, but it also pushes your product further down into the layers of skin. That's the key between you and someone who is just opening up shop in their house and just don't have any training. The high frequency one, we tighten pores with that one. We increase healing, we kill bacteria, and we push. So if someone I need to improve the texture of somebody's skin, I'm going to just say I have vitamin E. I may apply vitamin E to their skin, and then I may come back and put a red light on their skin, and their vitamin E is going to push. It's going to get pushed. That light is going to push it down to the layer of skin I need it to work. How do we know when it gets there? Well, it's going to go through 5 layers. The layer that needs it the most is going to grab it. Okay? Because it becomes, oh, I've been waiting for you. So it has that type of intelligence. All right. It says cosmetic products are not formulated to penetrate the epidermis. So we as estheticians, a lot of the things that people are selling over the counter, we actually can tell them, other than applying on the surface, it's not really doing much for them. They need to come to you for more intelligent based cosmetic ingredients. Okay. And most of the time, those are items that can only be sold to professionals, and where they're built to do more and to incorporate more. And so a lot of times people want to go and get CeraVe. I don't have anything against CeraVe, but the FDA did have some studies come out last week that it had, a couple of things in there that on the cancerous side. So there's more research needs to be done about that. So everything you see, people do comments and stuff like that, videos about this product is good, try it for yourself. Evaluate it for yourself. Okay. Of course, we're looking for products that has no fragrance, things of that nature, or if it's natural fragrance. But think about what's going on, what's the major issues with a person's skin. And I start developing for me, I develop products from there. But there are companies like Emirates, Skin Script, Hale and Hush. There's so many professional-based companies that really have uh, departments catered to ingredients. Okay, Emirates is king of ingredients. They have a farm over in Australia, I believe, and all of their ingredients come organically from the farm. Okay, Fresh House. So many different professional grade product companies that really have departments that study ingredients, and they understand in structure. So the molecules are already formulated, very tiny and very small, to be absorbed within the skin and to go throughout those skin layers, get those cells that need to be repaired or replenished, and hit areas that are literally, if pigmentation is the issue, it's gonna go to the dark, but it may need some help, may need a red light, may need a high frequency, may need something to help push it. I don't know if you've seen those scrubbers where they take the scrubbers and go across the face and they're saying, oh, the blackheads and stuff come up. That's typical for, that's one way. We also, the scrubber is also used when you flip it over, it's used to help seeing waves, radioactive rays, waves throughout the body, like a little vibration. Okay. And what happens, I would put my vitamin E on, or whatever product you're trying to get deep into the skin, take that scrubber across on the flat side, and that scrubber will create this vibration underneath the skin. And it's almost like a transportation for your product. Okay. Becomes like a vehicle. It starts to, it breaks down, but it pushes. It causes those waves that moves their product on down the way. And so many individuals don't even, you know, they think of aesthetics as just waxing or just lashes, or it is so much. And so we're looking to really cause a big change to the client's skin. We want them to, they want to look good and feel good. We want them there, but it's going to come from proven results. That's going to build your reputation. It's going to build your business. It's going to put you on a high level where you can offer premium services and be able to get premium pay. Okay. Tomorrow, well, I think that's ends it. There's 14 check-in questions there. Tomorrow, we're picking up on terms. So we're going to do some quizzes tomorrow. And they're all of the quizzes. We're going to study some terms, pull out some terms. But all of the quizzes will be done virtual tomorrow, and I will have a study guide for you for the weekend. So super excited about our first study guide going forward. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to give me a call. We are working on reports.